Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of, I was about to say Design Recharge. It's really been a long time since I've changed it, but I still want to call it Design Recharge. But it's Creatives Ignite, and I'm excited that you're here. Today, we're doing something we started a couple months ago. Amy, I can't remember, February? Was it February?
Maybe
It was
maybe the
sometime,
beginning of March.
sometime. It was
Yeah.
sometime.
Mhm.
And hey,
2024. Mhm.
yep. And Amy's been my friend since we were in eighth grade. But we have we've grown up a little bit since then, but we've known each other a long time. But she's a therapist, and I get some great advice. And we've talked about a lot of things with executive functioning. That was what we talked about last time, because I was like, I don't understand what that is. And
Mhm.
just being somebody who has ADHD, or just somebody who thinks differently, these that episode tended to resonate with some people. So I was excited and had some suggestions to do more of these. So I asked Amy if she'd be up for it, and she said yes. And until she says no, we're going to try to do kind of a monthly or every 2 months kind of episode. So this is a series where we're really honoring our neurotype. And that's what we called this one, but we're really talking about tidiness and the absence maybe of tidiness or organization, how maybe people who are neurodivergent organize things differently. I do know where things are. Like, I can tell you exactly where they are. My drawers are really organized, but the in between my desk, or we're going to talk about some of those things. I actually just thought that I was just messy, or unorganized. And we talked about some of these things. um, Amy and I will call, or we do Marco Polo, or we text, or um, so this was something she's like, we could do a whole series on this. I was like, okay, cool. I like this. I want to dig into this. So today, this is what we're doing. This is how, if you're new, I put your in, if you're watching this on a recording, you can always come live. You just have to sign up for my email list, and then you get the link every week. 30-minute warning too. So, but there's a chat so that you can type in questions, and then I'll have them answered. I always answer your questions before my questions. So feel free to put that over in the chat. So Amy, just will you remind them, if they weren't there for the last one, who you are, where you are, and what you do?
Oh, sure. So my name's Amy Bryant. I am a psychotherapist in Atlanta, Georgia. Wild Child Counseling is the name of my practice. I used to focus almost exclusively on working with kids and teens. Now I work almost exclusively with adults, mostly parents. So I work with lots of families who have an identified wild child. And I also work with adults who feel like they might be wild themselves, either because they think they're disorganized or, whatever story they have in their head about themselves. So there's lots of unpacking about ADHD going on in lots of my conversations.
Okay, so do you consider, I knew you when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah, I
Do
know.
you think
Sorry
you
about that.
no. Do you think we got lots of people here? It's great to see lots of names. Pop in the chat where you're coming from so that other people will know, hey, I'm from Canada too, like Brandy. Okay, so did you think that you were a wild child?
So I would say growing up, I worked really hard to not be a wild child, but was often unsuccessful because I wanted to talk and I wanted to climb things and I wanted to run to get everything and I wanted to brush my teeth at the top of the doorway and I wanted to talk and talk and talk. I mean, how often we get separated in class because we were talking? Yeah.
So I would think of you as a wild child, but I don't
Uh-huh.
really think I was a wild child. Do you think I
Uh-huh.
was a wild child?
I
I mean,
wouldn't
I was
say that.
talkative.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that you, well, you also knew me in my 20s, which might influence.
Yeah, but I even think you and Jill would go roll people's houses, and I was like, I can't do that. Like I would get in trouble, and I was a real rule follower, and you were like, nah,
Yeah, yeah.
they don't really apply. But your parents would
Yeah.
take you, let's go, Amy, like,
No, I think that's the difference. There were a lot of things that I knew that I wouldn't get in trouble for, but then there were a lot of things that I would. And some of those things that I would get in trouble for, I couldn't necessarily stop myself from doing.
mm,
And sometimes I didn't even understand why I was in trouble. Like, I don't understand this rule, or I don't understand what I did wrong.
yeah,
Right? Because
yeah,
there
yeah.
wasn't really conversations about what to do instead or why this rule makes sense. It was just do the rule, you're in trouble. Right.
Right.
So, yeah. So was I a wild child? Yeah, sure. But I am remembering the Wildcat Diane on the
Yeah.
sidelines of the soccer
Okay,
field.
I had some wild moments for sure, for sure.
You did. You
And I
did.
was
You were
loud.
unencumbered.
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not
But
wild in a negative way. I don't really see wild as negative either.
right,
So
right.
that, yeah,
Right. It does. And we're talking about some of these things today of how we're kind of marked in a way
yeah,
if
yeah.
we think differently. Um Brandy says also sometimes wild child is just a non-compliant child
100%.
or
And I got to say, I'm here for the non-compliant child.
right.
There's a reason for it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, we think differently and a lot of us are
yeah.
um creatives, and we tend to maybe feel like the misfit because we didn't think the same way. We solved problems differently. And our teachers were like, no, that's not how you do this. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, I got the same answer. I don't, anyway. But today we're going to talk about that stuff. And I just wondered if you thought of, and I'd love to know in the chat if you, not Amy, I already asked Amy, but if you're listening, or even if you're on YouTube, if you think you're a wild child, put it down in the chat because I'd love to know, or in
Mhm.
the comments, because I'd love to know if you resonate with that or not. And I think one of the things you said, Amy, just a second ago is you really tried to be compliant. You tried to be
Mhm.
a really good kid, but it did take a lot of effort. And when
Mhm.
you were allowed to just be you,
Mhm.
you could breathe. And it was like um, the unencumbered could just come out, I guess. And
Yeah.
maybe that's the part where we are really in our element is
Mhm.
when we can, and maybe that's when we're in a great state of flow, or we're really
Mhm.
in a project that we're really just totally jiving on. But anyway, I'd love to know. So we have uh, yes and no's on both sides in the chat. So last time we talked about executive functioning skills and how it confused me, and I just never dove into it. But this time we're going to talk about um, how we can understand some of the things that make us the way we are, and maybe how we can navigate. And the last question, which I won't tell you right now, and I hate when people do this, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to tell you a story about when I was in the marketing department at a corporate company in Denver. I didn't know that I was messy, I guess. I would spread out when I was working, and because I wanted to be able to jump right back in, I left my desk messy. Um, and now my desk is always messy. Pretty, I mean, anyway, but it seemed like, and I talked about this in something. I don't remember if it was in an email or if it was in the one of the write ups that I did for this, but or maybe just when I was writing you, Amy. But I remember, I do this. I keep it messy because it takes time for me to get back into the groove. And I think, well, my clients want it fast. They would rather have it on time. And who cares about the messiness? Is it more important for me to have it tidy at the end of every day and then slow me down to get started the next moment? Or is it really important for me to just be able to jump in and get going? And for me, I always value the client's deadline the most. That's I want to meet the deadline the
Yeah.
fastest. So being tidy, I can close the door at my house if I want.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but does that, and I mean, I had an awesome boss. Teresa, you still awesome boss. One of the most awesome bosses I ever had. And I didn't even, unbeknownst to me, someone said something to her about my desk. And she's like, is she not meeting her deadlines? And they were like, no. And they said, is her work suffering? Is it not as good? And they were like, no. And she said, well, then I'm going to let her keep her desk the way it is. Who cares?
Yes.
And
Thank goodness for advocates.
I know. Well, and I think that is something that, because we're going to talk about some of the ways that we could advocate for ourselves, but also maybe somebody under you is like this. And maybe it's at the end of a project you need to wrap up, and that's um part of the I don't know, the system or the flow is that you do tidy things up. I know when she came over to my house, I made fried okra and like what for me would be a good Southern meal. It wasn't like other people's Southern meals, but I had fried okra. And I think all my colleagues were like, oh my gosh, everything is super neat because I had everything super neat at my house because I wasn't working on anything there. I was just doing that. So, when we're talking about organization of physical space, what do you see when you are talking to neurodivergent people and they're struggling in this manner?
So, neurodivergent people can show up in all kinds of ways. Not everybody who is neurodivergent is going to have a problem with tidiness or messiness. Some of them, in fact, are going to be quite neat and tidy and can't do anything unless they're neat and tidy. So, if we were to talk specifically about ADHD brains, which I have to put in there how much I hate the term ADHD because one, we're not disordered. And it's not an attention deficit or a hyperactivity, right? We can get hyper focused. And the problem is we get hyper focused on things that we're working on that are interesting and that are special interests. And we're so excited. And then it's hard for us to pull up and be like, oh, right, I haven't peed, I haven't eaten, and it's been 7 hours and I was supposed to be home 3 hours ago. And then we can't necessarily make ourselves engage in other tasks. So having an untidy desk could have so many implications. It could be that, like you said, I work better when everything is at my fingertips. So for me as a therapist, I've got my my little dragon, I've got my Play-Doh, I've got my headphones, I have a rock, I have water. If I'm going to be in here all day, I have a snack because I'm going to forget to eat, and that's a mess. So if I had to tidy my desk before every day, it would make me mad and it would take up energy that I don't want to use. And so I probably would not do it. And then I would feel bad about myself if I thought I was supposed to have a tidy desk,
Mm.
right? I don't know who decided a tidy desk was the way to go. The tidy desk is only the way to go if that's what you need. No, I come in my office and every once in a while I go, I'm going to make it look really good in here again. And then I do, and it feels so good, but it wouldn't feel that good if I did it every day. It would get on my nerves, right? And so you have everything you need. Having a tidy office isn't what everybody needs. Having a tidy office can get in the way of creativity. It could use precious energy. There's no right or wrong. The key is, what do you need in your office
And maybe
besides
just
a
think
really amazing advocate
and
boss? Thanks.
maybe thinking about what works for you, because I think
Yeah,
when I was in my 20s I didn't think about that at all. I
no,
didn't
yeah.
even know that was an issue. I thought, I don't know, I had piles. I was a
Mhm.
piler, like there would be piles around. It's helpful to have another little table or a chair that I can put stuff in. And that my cat three's like, I'd like to get up there. And I'm like, no, that is not okay for you. Like, it's going to fall. Please don't touch that chair. And he now knows not to get up on the chair. But I think this has always been. I don't know about when I was a real, like when I was in grade school. I can't remember. I don't remember. I think my parents, wanted us to be pretty clean and tight. I never got in trouble for having a messy room, but I know that when I was playing, I would want to keep it, and my mom would be like, "Pick it up." I'm like, "I'm going to come back tomorrow," and she'd be like, "I don't care." So then I had to start over again, and I realized that I didn't want, because I didn't want to have to start over, and it was the starting was
Mhm.
just a time suck, I
Mhm.
guess, like getting it out.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that getting it back into the groove is a real thing with people for people with ADH brains. I'm going to leave out the D.
Okay.
Um, it's a real thing. Like it takes time to get in the groove. And so, what can you do to leave your groove out there? I tell parents all the time, if you have a place where your kids can leave their toys out so they can go back and revisit what they were doing, please try to have that kind of space for them somewhere. Maybe it's a corner of the room or a corner of the living room. Same for us. Can you have it so that you're ready to move right back into the groove that you were in?
So why is that? Um, I mean, do other people just go right back into the thing without the mess?
Yeah, some people, absolutely. Some people go, okay, I finished my project. I'm going to clean up my desk for the day and I'm going to leave. And then they go, okay, I'm going to open up my project. Yeah, that's just how their brain works.
Hmm. Well, they're
I
weird.
don't know how because mine doesn't, but it's pretty amazing.
So if
And
you
they would look at us and be like, what do you mean? How do you know what's in that pile and what's in this pile and what's in the pile in your lap? Why do you have pillows in your lap?
Tate says he came back from work, a vacation, came back from a vacation once, and his boss had cleaned up his
No.
desk and took all his toys away. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, no.
Nobody took my toys away for
Mm-mm.
sure.
That is an overstep.
Oh,
Shame on them. You're an adult.
Abby says that's horrible.
It's
Okay,
horrible.
so those are ways in our in I understand about a shared space, but if it was
Sure.
my desk,
Yeah.
or I
Yeah.
don't, I'd kind of, I mean, I clean up the, if it's like a table and we were all working, I'm going to clean up the table.
Yeah.
I'm going to take
Yeah.
stuff back I'm not going to leave my stuff out in another
Right.
place that I can't access, there's clearly something wrong with my eye. Okay. So, but I didn't really even think about this, like
Mm-hmm.
the organization, or that it was different or weird.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Um,
Because that's how you'd always done it. That's how you learned to do your work because that's what your brain needed.
so then, so if I don't have kids, so I'm not,
Mm-hmm. It's
uh,
fine.
but I can
Yeah.
imagine that if I was trying to tell one of my students, or tell if I had a kid or a kid's kid or whatever, like, well, maybe just keep the stuff out. Is there a place in do you have a space that
Mm-hmm.
you could keep it out so that you don't have to, because it's a lot of the organ getting it
Yeah.
set takes a lot
Yeah.
of time for me. So when I'm
Yes.
working on those birds, I had specific things out, and then I organized like the paper and it was behind me, and but everything was kind of out. And now that I'm done with that project, I can kind of clean things up and I'm ready to go to the next
Mm-hmm.
project. I won't keep
Mm-hmm.
the same things out, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what what could we get someone to advocate for us, or how can we, if we were a manager of someone, how can we advocate for someone else if somebody was like my boss's boss came over to her and said, "Hey, oh, he quit a month later," Tate said.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
goodness. Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. That's what I would say. It's a wonderful way to advocate for yourself.
But sometimes
But
we
you can't
can't
always quit.
quit.
No, no,
Yeah.
right, absolutely. So I think your boss is a great example, right? Um,
I mean, she
where
didn't
you,
even mention it to me. This is years
no,
later she
right, but
comes back.
yeah, so amazing. But her words are really important. Like, has someone complained about the quality of my work or getting my work in on time? Because if I mess with my process, it's going to impact my ability to get things done creatively, to get them done on time, and to get them done well.
Yeah.
I can't do my work your way because I have my brain that's different from yours.
So one of the things that you had sent me, and this was a while ago,
Hmm.
and you had taken the screenshot a while ago. Clearly, I need to put
Yeah.
some water in my eye. I don't know. I think I
Do you
was
want
trying.
to take a pause and go wash it?
No,
Okay.
it's okay.
Mm.
One of the reasons, this is by ADHD Angsty, Angsty, and clearly they're British, so maybe I should do it with the accent.
Yeah, do you
One
want
of
to hear?
one of the reasons, oh, it's probably a really bad accent, so let me just do me. One of the reasons people don't recognize ADHD as a disability is that they see ADHD struggles with things like organization, tidiness, timeliness, communication, etc., as personal failings. And this person said that is ableism. So so that resonated with me, and I just was like, okay, let's
Hmm.
just tackle organization and tidiness today. Let's do
Yeah.
timeliness communication on another day, because
Hmm.
to me that's a whole lot. We don't have enough time for that. But so
Hmm.
tidiness and organization, I kind of see them looped together.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Not everybody who's ADH is going to struggle with all these things.
Right.
Some people are not going to have any problem with some of these things, and some of us are going to have problems with every single one of them. Because you can have five ADH people in a room, and their skill levels in all these areas are vastly different. They look like totally different profiles from each other, which is brilliant and amazing, and why we have to advocate for ourselves and advocate for our peers and our colleagues and the people working for us. And in my case, advocating for students, children, adolescents, right? Because it's really ableist to say you're morally corrupt or a slacker or lazy
Yeah, lazy was the one
just
term you used.
because, yeah, just because you can't keep your space tidy or you can't keep your papers organized, especially for young brains. They're gonna grow and develop over time,
Are you seeing I'm
but
old, Amy?
there's still a cap. I mean, you're my age. You're almost 50.
No, I'm 50
I
already.
mean, 51.
Yeah.
Yes, I
So,
know.
but thanks for thinking I was still in my 40s.
I know.
Um,
I know, right?
but I think that some of that I understand about young brains. So it's like, it hurts the ability for them to move forward, and because they think they have to do it this way. And there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of people who are like, frozen because they
Yeah,
don't want to do something wrong. And so that's one
yeah,
reason for
yeah, yeah.
sure for a
Which
younger, even somebody
carries
in their
over into
20s, to be
adulthood.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Because
it comes with us. At 50, we're afraid of getting in trouble because we're not keeping our desk tidy.
right.
What?
Not Tate, man. We're quitting jobs.
Tate's like, I'm out of here. I'm not even with that. Good for
Luck
you.
Luckily I haven't had anybody, um you know, nobody's, and my office is a mess at school, but I'm like, hey, my kids are important. This stuff is not as important. I'll clean it up,
100%.
you know.
Priorities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I would rather do the work. So when I'm
Mhm.
avoiding something, I will clean, because it is, I really like to have the, like, making things tidy, but I know that it's avoidance. So when
Mhm.
if my house gets clean or my
Well,
office at school gets clean, it's an avoidance.
so let me rephrase that for you because this is an important thing.
Okay.
What you're doing, they call this climbing the wall of awful. You're working up to doing this non-preferred task,
Mm.
right? And so you've in the back of your brain, you're thinking, I have to do taxes or whatever it is.
Yep. As long as
And
these little drawers are out, that means that I still have to do taxes.
so it looks like, yep. So you're thinking in the back of your mind taxes. And in order to get to the taxes, you have to climb the wall of awful. And I think this came from like a YouTube video of ADHD brains or something. I'm sorry, I really should know. But this isn't my concept, but this idea that sometimes we have to climb the wall of awful so we can get to the awful task, where then we go, it wasn't so awful, but it's not our preferred task. So procrastination, that's all it is. This is a non-preferred task, and I can't make my brain do it, but I can climb the wall of awful and get there.
But so I love to vacuum and I love to mow. And I think it has to do with that I can do it in any way and I can make patterns. But I do like it to be clean. Um, but I think that so I love to mow. Like I like a real one of my favorite things. I think Brandy shared the YouTube link. I will
Oh,
get it
thank you so much.
from the
Yeah.
chat and I'll put it in the show notes. The but there's something about there is a start and a finish, and I know when it's
Mhm.
done.
Mhm.
Same thing like with vacuuming, I know when it's done, and there's other people can tell there it's done,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, it's satisfying to see it getting done.
But there are chores that never.
Yeah.
If you have animals too, man, it is like they are trying to make you never be done because they're just dirty. Or if my cat is dirty. Anyway, only one cat is dirty, really. It's three. But like it's just the constant, and maybe people with kids, they're like always pulling out, you're never really. But my grandmother, I believe she had OCD. She would vacuum every day. She
Mhm.
also liked to
OCD is
mow.
a form of neurodivergence.
So, but it helped her to um close the loop, end the day. It's
Yeah.
she could go to
Yeah.
bed and she could breathe because
Yeah.
it was the everything was done.
I love that idea of like it helps her close the loop. I think that's why some people tidy their desk. It helps them close the loop and put it right. Like it
I'm
kind of
not
makes
done with the
sense.
loop, right?
Sorry. All right, keep going.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'm not
I
done with
mean,
the loop. Yeah. Oh, I
no,
wasn't
that's what I,
interrupting.
no, no, I'm saying I don't tidy my desk because I'm
Yeah.
not at the end of the
Yes.
project.
100%. And when I'm finished with a project, I do tidy my desk and wrap up the project.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I work on these huge CEU classes and it is a lot. We'll just say it's a lot. And when I'm done, man, getting it tidied and it's just like, oh, that
Yeah.
is done.
Well,
It's
and
the
so
best.
if I was doing small projects, I think I
Mhm.
would tidy more.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? But the thing is, there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
The key is what does your brain need? What do you need to be your best self in this situation? And it's not what everybody tells us.
Okay, so in that, so say you go to a maybe even a client, and
Mhm.
for us that are having our own business, or a client comes to our space and they're like, "Oh, like maybe you
Like you
meet them
see it.
somewhere." Yeah,
Mhm.
they see it. And so then
I'm a huge advocate for normalizing. I think it is a fantastic way to begin to normalize the many divergent brains and ways of existing instead of hiding and pretending like there's one way to be that's okay. And so someone might come into your office and be like, this is my creative process. This is how I get the dream work done. Here's a space I've created for us so that I don't interrupt my work and I can keep it the way I need
we're going to meet in the bathroom, okay? Because it's the
it.
cleanest room in the house.
I've made a space on the floor.
You can sit on the toilet. I'll sit on the floor. Keep your pants on. That would be weird, but okay. I mean,
That
don't
might
really
not
do that.
be the best option. A coffee
Well, we're
shop might be
trying,
better in that case.
but I do think about this like in
Yeah.
YouTube, or people having these like perfect spaces.
Mhm.
And used to I had a curtain behind me. I used to face this wall. I have to face the wall. That's the other thing for me. I do better if you put me by a window. Amy knows because she was in the room when I was trying to
Oh,
take the
sorry, I've got a
SATs.
window here. Yeah.
But when I the standardized test, you put me next to a window. I'm avoidant because this test is not fun. I'm looking out the window and seeing lots more things. And then I'm like, oh crap, I don't have enough time. I got to fill in some bubbles, right? But so I face the wall. There's a wall here. There's a wall here. I do have a window, but I don't really, I can't, I can't really look out. The curtain's still there. I probably need to take the curtain down, but I really wanted to face because I wanted some more of the light. But used to John's desk was behind mine. So we had our backs to each other. And he didn't want people seeing him, which is fine. He does exist. Amy was there. Um, but I think that some people have this like super perfect space that they record in,
Mhm.
right? And they're not letting people in to see. And then it makes us feel like we have to have a perfect setup.
Sure.
And a lot of us meet on Zoom. So I know that it can be distracting because I have a lot of things going on, but
I,
it's just what it is.
I think it's lovely. I like to see your workspace and how you have it organized and how you have it set up. Like, I think for lots of people, looking at how other people have done things while you talk are like, ooh, I could try that.
Well, it's definitely, I think, more interesting visually
Mhm.
than a curtain,
Yeah, I think so. I think it looks better myself.
even
Your
if
curtain
it's
was
messy.
fine. Yeah.
It worked because John was now I've kicked John out. He doesn't have a desk in here. Um,
Ali says it's more of your personality. I totally agree. It's part of your creativity.
but maybe how are we
Mhm.
stuffing down some of the
Mhm.
things that are, and I'm thinking this to anybody in the
Mhm.
chat. How
Mhm.
are you stuffing down? How are you? I mean, sometimes if you have other people in your house, you don't really want them walking behind you naked, which I've pretty much seen during COVID
Me too.
with kids and their roommates and whatever.
Yep.
But so I get that, but there are comments. People make comments about anything that's different or out of step. Um, if you have mismatched couches and chairs and it's super colorful, some people will respond negatively. But you just have to say, this is who I am. So, how would you, if you're starting to feel bad about showing your mess or that you're super colorful and other people are judging you, what can you say to yourself in situations like that?
Are you asking me or the
Yeah,
people here?
you. I'm asking
Okay.
you. You're the
Okay.
professional.
Okay. I mean, for me, this is about getting really clear about our values. What is important to me, right? Is it important to me, this person's opinion? Like, I might hear their opinion and go, is that important to me? And in which case, in that opinion, I'd be like, oh, that's just their own personal preference. That's not a value judgment of who I am as a person. Or that's just them having limited knowledge about my neurodivergent brain. It's not my job to educate them or please them. I can be a little sassy and wild about it though in my own head, right? Like, generally speaking, though, I actually really like people, even with their, you know, own sassy opinions about me. The important thing is like you said, like it's more important to me to be able to move into my space, getting back into the groove so I can get my work done for my clients.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. And so you're going to get like, right, your nervous system's going to be activated and you might feel insecure. You might feel, questioning your worth. You might feel, what's that? This is an ADHD trait where you can't, ADHD trait where you can't come up with the word sometimes. Imposter syndrome, there it is, right? All that stuff can come up. And when it does, this is where we are kind to ourselves and go, okay, these are feelings and I will explore them. Am I an imposter because I can't remember imposter syndrome? No, I still know stuff. That's just how my brain works. Um, am I a bad worker because my stuff is messy? No, it actually makes me a good worker. Like, do I have bad taste because of the couch and the chair? No, I actually quite like them. Okay. Right. And so then it's just taking that moment to pause and ask ourselves, like, I'm having feelings or worries or concerns. And so then, right then, you're sitting on your truth. I like my couches. I have however many years of experience in my field, and I'm constantly learning, or, my clients are really happy and they pay their bills and hire me again.
Okay, so I want to dive into this couch thing.
Okay.
So, say it is you are being bold and you are buying this really colorful couch that
Orange.
you,
Okay.
okay, it's an orange
Hmm.
couch. Maybe it's multicolor. I have no idea, but it is, you know, it feels like, oh, this is what I've been wanting. Like
Yeah.
gives you chills, you see it and you're like, ah.
Hmm.
But then you also at the same time, because I know I've experienced it not with my couch, but I
Yeah.
wish I had a colorful couch. Um,
Hmm.
but it's almost shame
Yeah.
because other people won't understand. And to be honest, that's what this whole thing is that
Yeah.
that couch makes me feel happy, but it will make other people uncomfortable.
Hmm. Yeah. It's really hard to let people sit in their own discomfort,
Yeah.
especially for those of us who were taught to make everybody around us feel comfortable at our own expense. And that's what often we choose
Because it's easier for us to be uncomfortable than someone else to be uncomfortable.
because we think we're supposed to self-sacrifice. And we're sacrificing our energy, we're sacrificing our joy, we're sacrificing our connection, our heart connection to others, not the people pleasing, but like, how are we heart connected? Like you, Diane, and I imagine everybody here listening who knows you have a heart connection to people. And when they get to know you, they're not going to care about the couch. Oh, I'm so happy about knowing you.
Are you getting choked up?
I did. I got choked up thinking about your heart connection.
Do you want my tissue? I only
Yeah.
have one, so
Okay.
we'll just both have to use it. So I think for me, I didn't even know in my 20s that I was even being messy, to be honest. Right?
No, it was not on your radar.
It wasn't on my radar. Um,
You had to be taught that by someone else who was judging what it means to be quote
yeah,
unquote messy.
right. And I mean, I feel like even Amy and I played soccer. Amy was like star. She got a soccer scholarship. I was better on the bench. One time I caught the ball with my face and
Oh,
was not, they were like, do you want to sit back? I'm like, I'm good on the bench. I'm good.
yeah.
I was a better cheerleader, but I knew where I had strength. I do feel like I tend to, and maybe it is just people pleasing, but I mean, I feel like as a designer, that's what we're doing. We're pleasing these other the client, and we're trying to guide them in what's best for the reader or for the viewer or for their customer, to get them the more money or the more sales or the more people to go their education, whatever. Um, but sometimes they don't, and then we just have to do the people pleasing, and it doesn't end up in our uh, portfolio because it isn't it isn't the couch that we thought would be the best for them, and that the research that we did told us that their clients, their customers would want the orange couch or whatever, right? I do think that there's some acceptance, and I don't know if it's just the way we were raised, because me and Amy were
Mhm.
raised similarly. Um, is that we struggled with this, and now we're coming into um, I'm good with the mess, and there's certain things that I haven't processed through because I'm not ready to process through. So it's a pile over there, and I see it. I know I need to get to it, but I'm not ready to do it yet. Kind of like the wall of whatever you call
Awful.
it. Yeah,
Mhm.
the wall of awful. I do think sometimes it's about us being okay and being bold, being courageous, and having. So I think my blue glasses. Will isn't here, but he is the my family all were like, "You're not going to wear those out, are you?" And I wore them to a Bible study, and Will was like, "I like you're rocking those glasses," and I mean, John was like, "Oh my, the blue blockers, no kisses for Diane with those blue things on." And then I have red ones. He's like the red rockers; those are good, right? Um, The red are now for driving. Those are that's how I tell I have color. Distance ones are for the red. Um, but I think that when he said, and I mean, I love my friend Will, but really it was just that one person saying, I really like those. Those are
Hmm.
good. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wear the blue. I really like the blue glasses. I'm gonna wear the I mean, everything else Will wears is black. Like I mean, I'm wearing black today, but I have on pink shorts. So I think having one person say, "Hey, it's okay. I really like that crazy couch,"
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
really all sometimes you need
Yeah. Agreed.
to be able to go and do the whole thing. So, and there are some people who are super close to me that I really admire or really value their opinion, and they did not like the blue glasses. But one person who I do value, maybe not, I mean, Will, you dress great, but you wear a lot of black, buddy. Um, but it's like I'm not taking fashion advice, but just that he thought it was okay. I was like, you know what? That's all I need. So Will believing in me allowed me to wear blue glasses forever
Hmm. Hmm.
because I had lots of
It's
other colored glasses. Anyway, back to you.
having a little bit of confirmation can be helpful, right? But the question is why? Why? What? And I'm totally guilty of this, as if I'm doing something wrong. I totally struggle with this too. That is it okay if I wear this? Is it okay if I have on this green shirt with my pink pants? Right? I don't really know, but I like it. Um, yeah, it's an interesting thing. And sometimes just noticing, wow, I really like these glasses and I'm feeling a little bit insecure about wearing them. But I'm gonna wear them anyway. Or, oh gosh, no, I think I'm not. Can we do that for ourselves?
Yeah,
Can we? Can we
I
show up for ourselves?
can we leave our stuff out even though it might make someone else uncomfortable?
And can we trust that they're going to be okay? A little discomfort around how someone else lives or keeps their stuff or wears their glasses, I think they can probably handle it. We're not torturing them, literally torturing them.
So Brandy has a good comment. She's in the middle of a move. Her husband's in the military in Canada, and they're going to rent their house. And on top of the legit required fixes and renovations, all the yucky, stupid rules of engagement about layout, decor, etc. In prep for being show ready. Oh, yeah. Just the whole
Yeah.
term show ready gets me. Um,
Yeah.
I'm with you, Brandy. Which is a requirement to making sure that it rents. Again, you're reaching to more people. And I get to move to meet my partner in a timely manner, but oof, it's heavier because of all the baggage.
Yeah. Kind of takes the fun out of it. But you won't be living there, so maybe it won't matter.
Yeah. Well, she'll come back to it and then she can make it whatever she
Yeah.
wants. Then I also
Yeah.
think like she has this awesome dark wall in her office. I mean, beautiful. I think it's a dark gray, blue, gray color, Brandy. I can't see the current chat because I want to make sure I get the other people to talk to. But like, I think that's an okay color. Maybe one, and you could tell them that they could paint, like you can paint when I mean, again, which is faster to get it rented? Are you renting to more people who think differently or are people going to be okay with the bold? I guess it's how much time because you got a little one. So do you have anything to say anymore about that one? And I'll go on to Allie's. Amy?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So Allie says for me, it's a lot easier to present what's more comfortable for them because I get to protect the
Mm.
real me. That's really good insight. More comfortable for them, more comfortable for me.
That protection piece is hard when we feel like we have to protect ourselves. Um, and some of us can consistently do it. Some of us who are a little more impulsive might find ourselves exposing our real selves to people. And then how do we get comfortable with people knowing some parts of us? But sure, I think most of us probably are protecting ourselves in some ways.
Well, and when does it get to be I somebody I was on a call earlier and somebody was talking about being online and they don't feel like they feel like they're very monotone, and she said she has
Hmm.
a resting bitch face, and she's just, and she did kind of have monotone, but you know there
Sometimes it
are,
happens when we're nervous
yeah,
also.
right,
Yeah.
right. But it's like, it's just sometimes it's practice, but maybe that's just who you are, and it's
Yes,
okay to be monotone. I
it
think
is.
the face stuff, if people know, um, then you can preface that, hey, I just
Hmm.
want you to know I kind of have just this resting face. I'm not
Hmm.
reacting to what you're saying, right?
I think that's so important because we can't control if we have a flat affect or a monotone voice, but we can demand that we're going to be treated respectfully and with kindness for
And we
who we
could
are.
say, I'm going to make sure that you understand how excited I am or
Yeah.
how not excited I am with my
Yeah,
words.
I love that.
But
Yes, there
but
is a way to convey it. Hmm.
start the conversation in that way, maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
When I do CEU classes, I say
what's
sometimes,
CEU so people
sorry,
know?
continuing education classes, sometimes I'll go, I have
What's the
notes,
U?
continuing education unit or something like
Oh, well,
that.
I was like, educate.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. And so I'll say, like sometimes when I'm talking, I'll lose my breath. That's just what my body does. Or sometimes my attention will wander, so I might pull something out, or I might start rocking to get back into my body. Like just owning our stuff that we need, you know.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, like with the couch or with the blue glasses, or uh Brandy was saying, sometimes it's just one person to check your gut. You already loved X, and X, um, this
I love
was
that.
just like, you haven't broken an essential law of the universe. But I
Yes.
like that you can just say, know that some people might not like this, but actually, if you think about little kids, they're never like, oh, I hope so. And I never remember thinking as a under 10-year-old, oh, I hope so and so likes me. Like, I would be like, oh my gosh, have you tried this gum? This gum is awesome. Like it was
That's also a
later.
part of your neurology, though. Some kids very much have it on their radar at very young ages. So and so doesn't like me, so and so does.
Oh, that
But
sucks.
it's so hard. It's so hard. Yeah, yeah. But I think this is a part of, I have the same, my neurology protected me in that same way. I was absolutely oblivious to whether or not someone liked or didn't like me when I was in elementary school. Other than teachers, I knew when teachers didn't like me.
But I mean, what if you liked something? Like you liked gum, this one particular kind of gum, and you were just sharing it,
Yeah, I was. Hmm.
right? Like you're just sharing it, and it's the energy that people are like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's some things that you made me try that I was like, I don't like that. I mean,
Mhm.
there were candy that you liked, and I was like, yeah, it's not for me. But it didn't mean
Yeah.
that I didn't like you.
No,
I
I
was like,
never
hey,
would have
more for you,
personalized it.
Amy.
Yeah.
Make me some of that cookie dough.
It was probably cinnamon and pearls. Yeah.
I didn't like cinnamon.
Yeah. So that was probably it. That was my favorite. I
Cinnamon and
probably tried
pearls?
imperials. They're like these
Oh,
big red, hard cinnamon.
you can have all those.
I probably don't eat them anymore. I probably wouldn't like them, but man, I could eat them all the time.
Okay,
I'd
so
almost steal them.
so I think that there's this little girl Sophie, which she makes these grumpy frog.
Oh, oh, I
Look at,
love those.
oh my gosh, this is a new one for the fall, for a sticker. Happy fall. I hope
Oh
to
my
get her
gosh, that's
on the
adorable.
she is 9. I think she's 9. She was like who I sat across from at Creative South last year, when the one night that I was there and my mom had died, and I just talked to Sophie, and Sophie was awesome. But I
Oh,
think about how awesome Sophie is, and she's just telling you about her grumpy frog, and she's just passionate
yeah.
about it. To
Hmm.
me, I get on board because she's passionate about it. I mean, frogs are not my favorite, but I love her frog.
Mhm. Well, what's interesting though is some people's passion will make other people shut down because of how their brain works.
What do you mean?
Some people, if you bring your passion and joy to them, their brain reads it as danger and they'll shut down and they can't take it in or join you in your excitement.
Like, what would that look like with I know. Me and Brandy are both like, wait,
Yeah. So, with a client, you would know, you would see that. So, a, adult brains can handle a lot more, right, than a child's brain and nervous system and body. But if you were super excited and you approached a child who was not at that energy level, even a teenager, I mean, I got about 5 teenagers in my brain right now that I can think of would do this, where if you came with your excitement about this project, they might move into a freeze state.
because why though? So do we need to tamp?
You don't have, no, I don't think you have to. I think, for one thing, I know you would be like, oh, that shut them down. And I've seen you do it. Your body naturally does this, like, and then you go, oh, like I can even like see and hear you. Oh, and then you would say it to them differently. Um, so
So
yeah,
I
it's
so
fascinating, right?
that is like you have just stopped the internet for us.
Yeah,
Like I guess I usually think people I but again, I'm just thinking about what's worked for me,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
doesn't always work so Allie has a question um
Okay,
in our last 6 minutes. Did you see
okay.
how quick I did that math? Whoop whoop, math wizard.
You're a
Not really,
math
but
goddess. Yeah, that's
not
amazing.
really, but okay. How do you check your distortions in the language that you talk about yourself? I feel like a lot of it's internal dialogue, so it's not always obvious that it's a distortion. This is a great question. I know therapy
Mhm.
definitely helps call it out, but
Mhm.
what practices help you outside of that?
The first thing you want to do is notice when you're having negative self-talk,
Is there a way to
right?
do that? Because sometimes it's happening so often that you don't even notice. Is there a way to start noticing?
There's the only way to start noticing is to say, I'm going to see what am I saying to myself internally. And then there's no way to make yourself do it, but it's like climbing the wall of awful. Eventually you get to the taxes. And so you might be going, oh, I didn't get that project done. And
Mm.
then you go, oh, I'm a bad person. I'm such a slacker. I am such a procrastinator. I just need to try harder. Those are the things you're looking for. Are you saying things to yourself that I would say to Diane?
Oh, right.
And if what you're saying to yourself is something I'm just using me and Diane because I can, is something I would never say to Diane, that's when you probably have a cognitive distortion. If you have negative self talk, it is almost always, I can't think of a time when it's not a cognitive distortion. It's often rooted in ableism or in something someone told you when you were younger when they had expectations that were unrealistic. Um, and they had their own cognitive distortions about who you should or shouldn't be.
So, like Tate says, negative self talk is 24/7. And I feel like I have done a lot of work in the last maybe 6 years on
Mhm.
my negative self talk. And some of it was like, think of one instance where you talk about yourself negative, like a situation that happens, like at the end of a project or um, anything that is regularly
Mhm.
happening. Maybe it's when you put your clothes on, or I mean, maybe not that regular, but maybe it's I don't know
Every
what
time
it
you're
is.
driving in the car or whatever. Yeah.
It is something that is repeatable.
Hmm.
And then you start you because I need something to notice. I need something
Hmm.
that happens maybe every day, but it doesn't happen 7 times during the day because I will just forget. But I know that like Allie's husband does mindful. He used to when he was in school, he had an alarm and it was like, oh, that's my mindfulness. I just need to remember to be mindful. I even think
Hmm.
that could be one way of like
Sure.
starting to
Hmm.
retrain. Like, what have I just said to myself? But why I
Yeah.
try to tack it on to something that I've am doing on a
Hmm.
regular basis. Like if I meet a new friend, one of the worst things that I tend to do now is and I've always done it, but now I'm working on this is that if I've said something that
Hmm.
probably was not the best, because I didn't, it just, blah, it just came out.
Yes, I know. Me too.
Man, and then I replay and I'm like, oh, the
Yeah.
replay is
Yeah.
so terrible and mean, and it is like,
Hmm.
I am terrible. I am never going to open my
Hmm.
mouth up again at this
Hmm.
situation. Nobody ever said anything, but it was terrible what I said,
Yes.
or I
Yes.
think it
This
was
is.
terrible. Maybe nobody else thought it was terrible,
Hmm.
but that is a situation that I know I still really struggle with. So when I'm
Hmm.
in that situation, it doesn't happen all that often, thankfully. I'm okay with most of the things I say. Um,
Yeah.
but in that situation is one that I can be like, ooh, was it
Oops. Yeah.
really?
Was it okay? Well, so I think that here's the thing. So, where do you know you're going to ruminate or have that replay or perseverate on something?
Ooh,
Sometimes it
perseverate. What's that mean?
perseverates. It means ruminate or replay or go
Okay.
over it and over and over it again. Um, so, like if you're somewhere where like my folks always have the TV on, I can't do that. I need the TV off, and so I know if I'm sitting on the couch not doing anything at all, I'm probably ruminating about something. And then I go, okay, wait, what? So I'm stuck here. I can't get energized to do anything. What's going on? Oh, I'm ruminating on this conversation I had with my friend yesterday, and I feel like I stuck my foot in my mouth. And gosh, I'm such a jerk, and I'm never going to talk. It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. And then I go, okay, hold on a second. So um, I said that. Was my intention to be hurtful? Do I need to check in with them? I can check in with them. Am I being unkind to myself? I often blurt things out and I'm funny or I'm insightful or I'm whatever. Usually in the moment, if I say something and I put my foot in the mouth, I'll go, oh my God, that came out wrong. Right? I do that sometimes. Um, it's about interrupting the thought. And here's the thing, a lot of times this is less about ADH and more about anxiety. And then when we allow ourselves to sit and think and think and think and negative self-talk and negative self-talk and negative self-talk, we're feeding anxiety and we're making it go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Therapy can be super helpful, but also meditation, like a walking meditation, having a mantra, coming up with a mantra. I'm not perfect, but I'm good enough, and good enough is good enough, you know, saying I love myself and I don't have to be perfect. Diane loves me. She doesn't think I have to be perfect. My dog loves me. My teenager loves me, even if she doesn't always like me, like whatever that is. Really connecting yourself to the truth because thoughts aren't always the truth.
Fear isn't always
Um,
the truth either. Right.
Fear is usually what's behind it. And
And
fear
it,
tries to keep us safe, but sometimes fear is wrong.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right, Amy. Well, we have lots to do for next time. We can
Yeah,
do communication because I don't really, I mean, I guess we sort of are getting into maybe a
a
little bit
little
of the
bit. Yeah,
communication.
yeah.
What was the other one? Communication and timeliness. Mm,
Timeliness. Hmm.
yeah. Okay, that's a perfect. I don't know if we'll do those together. Let's do communication next. How about that?
Sounds good.
So I said, I have 6 questions. We didn't even get to us. But anyway, I said, keeping it short today because this is a new series we'll be exploring once a month for the rest of the year. What are some ways we can advocate for ourselves? Hopefully, you guys understand and know some ways that you can advocate for yourselves, or that maybe you need to think about somebody who's under you that you can help them advocate or help them to process how they think, or maybe it's just their creative process.
Hey, can I give three quick ways to advocate for yourself?
Please.
Some things that are going to be really helpful is saying, I need a deadline for me to get this accomplished. Let someone give you a deadline. I'll need someone else to take notes for me while I talk, right? I'll need an email with bullet points with exactly what you want from me.
Oh, that's really good for clients. Or you could,
Yes.
if the client's like, I don't want this recorded, you could say, hey, I really need to record this so that I can take notes of all the things that I need to do for you because I'm going to come back and transcribe this. Because I've had some people are
Yeah.
like, I don't want this recorded. And I'm like, well, do you want
Yeah.
me to do the job?
Yeah. It costs you another 2 grand if I can't record it. No, I'm kidding.
I got to hire somebody, right? All right. So what if somebody like Tate? I know Tate's gone, but because he had to go. But what are some adjustments real quick that we can make if we need to conform to
Yeah.
standards?
So you need to really figure out what stresses you out, what like sort of pushes you over the edge. So if I'm trying to do like 7 projects at once, I can't do it. I have to like work on something, stop, work on something, or work on 2 things. Not exactly like that, but I can't have a lot of people talking to me while I'm working on a project. And so know what stresses you out. And then the alternative to that is what regulates you, what makes you feel calm in your mind and your body. So I can talk with clients all day if I'm playing with putty. Um, I can make myself laugh when I look at the dragon. Laughter regulates me. Having some sort of sensory input regulates me. Um, what kind of supports do you need? If you know you're about to do a really something that's hard for you that you have to do to conform to whatever the expectation is, what supports can you have around you? So, um, for me, I need a snack near me. I have to have something tastier than water to drink, lemonade or hot tea or whatever. I need a sensory experience around me to keep doing the task. For tasks I really hate, I sit in front of the TV, I get my computer in front of me, and I start watching TV and then eventually start doing the task, and then I get immersed in the task. It is without a doubt the best thing I have to do tasks I hate. Um, which sounds counterintuitive. It could go either way. I could technically get lost watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer instead of doing my taxes, but often that's not how it works for
I
me.
love that idea. So it could be how you take notes if we're taking notes with a
Mm-hmm.
client. If I
Mm-hmm.
need to make sure that I'm being quiet,
Mm-hmm.
I need to write the answers down. I've
Yeah.
found that when I was doing groups or facilitations, and I don't always, my students would disagree with me that I'm always like, do this. And I do that at school, but
Yeah.
I try to just write down the answers or the questions that I would really like to send Brandy if Brandy's doing something, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those are the things that um help me. But I think it could be
Yes.
drawing. It could, I know
Yeah.
one of my colleagues always draws during,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're in arts department, but like
Mm-hmm.
he's always, if he, I think he would not be feel comfortable if somebody told him to sit. My mom used to
No.
not want me to shake my leg, you know?
Yeah.
And so
That's
we have
that's how you regulated
that.
yourself.
Yeah. And so we have these tables at school that you can't see anybody's legs. And I am just, I don't notice that I'm really doing
Okay.
it, but I think
Yeah.
moving is an
Yeah.
important part of
Mm-hmm.
it could be anything.
Chewing gum is a great way for people who are ADH to regulate. It really helps them like pay attention and concentrate, not across the board, but just throwing it out there. It's a great way for a lot of people to regulate and concentrate. And then also, I can't emphasize enough that self-compassion, self-kindness piece. When you notice you've got this negative diatribe in your head, remind yourself that it gets in the way of creativity. It sucks up your energy. It gets in the way of you knowing your true self. Because
And
at your core, your true self is good.
I do think when you're trying to be more comfortable with being you, so instead of being always in protect mode, finding someone who can respond to you
Hmm.
And you could say, hey, I'm going to try something new. I need
Hmm.
I need some positive response. Um,
Yeah.
just asking for what you need from that person. And then maybe it's, I don't know if that's a good way or not, but just
Yeah.
testing with
Telling someone
people.
what you need. Absolutely. Yeah,
But I don't know if you'd really
absolutely.
feel confident after if somebody, it was like a force, like, do I look
Yeah.
pretty? I need you to tell me I look pretty. Okay. I mean, that's when John's like, you look pretty. I'm like, that doesn't
Yeah,
do anything for me.
I think it's hard. I would say, I'm feeling insecure about this. Can I run something by you?
Hmm, it's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Amy, I'm going to
We're out of
share
time. I know.
all the
Oh, go ahead.
ways. Oh, go ahead. Abby loves this topic, and me too, Abby. So I'm just going to share ways that you guys can connect with Amy, and she'll be back on sometime, hopefully in May, and maybe we could do one live together. That would be
That would be
cool.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I could come sit by you.
You could come be in my office.
Yeah, bring my camera and my microphone. We could talk into
Yeah.
it. Anyway, next week, so tomorrow I am feeling insecure about the last workshop. And I just, so we are going to do a workshop. It may just be me teaching, and that is it. That is tomorrow. It is the founder story. And if for some reason, I think I'll be able to, I'm going to do it. It's going to be fine. But then the next week, I'm doing kind of a wrap up of my birds and to show you what I learned and reflect on that. And then we start a new series. We've done the series before. It's about your inspirations. I've just really found seeing someone else's inspirations and how that has affected their work and what they've done. So Ryan Coe, I don't know how to say Ryan's last name, Kough, I think. Yep. Um, I've talked to her, but I just never asked her to say her last name for me. But she's going to be on in May 8th. So May 1st, which is next Wednesday, that is Freedom Day for me. I'm done with classes and I'm really excited. So I'm just going to be off 1 week in May, but maybe Amy, me and you can do something that day. But we'll talk about it.
I'd love that.
Okay. And
Happy birthday, Eve.
thank you. Let me read off how people can get in touch with you, just in case people are listening. So, wildchildcounseling.com. And if you're on Instagram, that's a website. The .com should have given that away, but whatever. Instagram at wildchildatl, because she's in Atlanta, people. And then Facebook. And you do things online. You would do,
Yeah.
I think, right? You do counseling online. So it's not like
Hmm.
people have to be in Atlanta to be counseled. And then Facebook, facebook.com/, I can't even speak. Blah.
You did
Wild
great.
Child Counseling. That is a twister
It
a
is.
little bit.
Yeah.
Wild Child Counseling /Wild Child Counseling. Facebook.com/Wild Child Counseling. What is wrong with me? And you can email
That's
Amy at
it.
amy@wildchildcounseling.com. And if you want, you can always under here, there's underneath Amy's links is the show notes where the transcription is there. And just thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being bold and asking questions. And Christy, I hope you come back. Kelby, I'm excited that you're here. And I'm just excited that y'all stuck around, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. If you want to come for the workshop, send me an email today. Then that way I know that you want to come. You don't have to be on camera, but that that's the encouragement to me. Diane, yes, please do this tomorrow. But if not, it's no big deal too. It's no big deal. Um, and I just will be happy to see you guys next week, and I will wrap up my birds. I mean, literally wrapping them up. But anyway, the end. I'm going to hit stop. Amy, do you want anything to say at the end?
Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.